Yo, it's a new day, and it's the conscious way. Yo, it's a new day, a new day. We've got the tools to free your mind. So come on, it's time to shine, be a new day. We've got the healing that you want. So come on, create your life with a new day.
It's funny and it's we get the applause. Hit the wrong button. This is Spaces of Place Network, and you're now listening to A New Day with the New Bay podcast, a podcast about our relationship with self, the collective, and spirit, and how we become a new being, go beyond us, and have affairs with our side spirit for healing and wellness. I am your host, Khem Anu Na'khi.
And I am Lahoma Je'Faye.
And we are A New Bay. So I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to listen and support us. This is season 1, episode number 5, entitled Get Money, What You Say, Huh? Boom. So, get money, what you say, huh? So, yes.
I really think that the way I did it sounded better.
Well, go ahead and do it.
No, it's okay because
go ahead and do it.
You got to have that airy sound. Hey, ha ha.
It's like you've been practicing all night to try to upstage. You try to upstage Patricia Russian. Was that Patricia Russian?
No, I would not be able to upstage her. No. A legend. She is a legend.
Okay. All right. So yes. Get money. What you say? So yeah, so this show is part of the Spaces of Place Network. We have officially gotten our own platform for A New Bay, so you can find us on Facebook, IG, YouTube at A New Day, A New Bay, and that's ANEWANUBEY. So you can just type that into the search bar and you will find us. You can also go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/A New Day, A New Bay, ANEWDAYANUBEY. All right. So it's been 2 to 3 months since we've done a show. Probably longer than that because we are in July. So it's probably longer than the 2 to 3 months. So we were supposed to get things started again, popping again with episode 5. We were going to speak about Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice, #Melanated Money, and where we discuss the book not written by Napoleon Hill, but remixed by the brother Dennis Kimbra. So we were going to do a show on that. But like I said, that was probably back in like December, January-ish. But we didn't get a chance to do that show. We did record a show just talking about some things that I was going through as to why I hadn't recorded. Some let's say, I guess you can say, limiting beliefs that were halting me from moving forward in this podcasting space. And we recorded that and the audio was trash. So we didn't put it up. So that was about probably like 6 months ago. So here we are. Yet again, upgraded the studio, got the cover art, the logo. I don't say that's not the official logo, but we got the cover art for A New Day, A New Bay in the background on the TV above myself. So you froze. You froze. So she froze. Get her let her get her internet back in.
Get money.
Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
It froze.
What happened?
Yours froze?
Am I still frozen?
No, I can hear you now.
One moment. Okay, how you doing?
I see.
Good?
It froze again, so I can hear you now.
It's frozen right now?
Oh no, it's good now, but it had froze afterwards. So we didn't did this whole pre-show and then all of a sudden your computer or your internet freezing. It's still glitching a little bit.
Right now?
Mm-hmm. Like you move and then it'll
It's
stop.
rained. It's rained in Plano, and I'm literally right. There's a creek right behind the house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. I got it shows that I'm fully connected.
Okay. Well, we'll make do with what we got. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we'll I'll speak through the freezing and try to hold it down. Hold it down while you are stuck in time and space. So
Well, I
yeah.
know that I am always connected. I am one with this universe, and so is my internet.
Can you be one with the internet? Merge your internet.
It's all
Merge your
good.
energy
It's
with the
all
internet.
good. It's all good.
Merge your energy with the bandwidth.
Namyo Renge Kyo.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Go ahead and use your mind power to push through the limiting connectivity. So let's go ahead and get into it. So topics of discussion for today, segment 1, we're going to be talking about Lahoma and eyes. Is that how you're supposed to say it? Lahoma and I. I'm trying, going back to the English. Lahoma and me? No, that don't even sound right. Me and Lahoma?
You say my, like Lahoma and my.
There you go.
Because you're gonna say our blueprint, right?
I'll just say our.
Thank you.
Lahoma.
We ain't gonna talk about that Oak Cliff education.
Lahoma and me. We're gonna talk about our journey.
Me and Lahoma.
Yeah, that ain't even right.
Lahoma.
English.
Look, Lahoma and I.
That's why I said Lahoma and I. Eyes.
Say eyes. See, eyes. You can't say that.
I apostrophe S. Hey, this hip hop over here. I talk how I want to talk. There's no limit as to how I can speak.
Okay. Look.
Abundance in how my slang comes across. So Lahoma and myself, we're going to talk about our programming and journey with money. This is going to be a long show.
Look,
hey, get the enunciation.
Land the plane. Man.
English is messed up, bro. So yeah, so we're going to talk about our programming and journey with money. Segment 2, we're going to talk about Lahoma is going to talk about prosperity consciousness, and I will be talking about crypto and the new metaverse. And then segment 3, we're just going to give resources in regards to prosperity consciousness as well as crypto and the new metaverse that we're entering into. So we can go ahead and jump into it. Lahoma's programming and journey when it comes with getting money. What you say, get money. Boom. What you got?
I know we were starting with me, but okay.
Oh, we can start with me. It's cool.
I would rather start with you.
I don't want to go first.
Because
I got to work on my English.
You was over there writing all your notes down and stuff. I didn't know we was going to really go into my stuff. That's all. Well, I'll just be quick. I'll be quick. So I grew up hearing a lot about we don't have this, we don't have the money don't grow on trees, the typical stuff you hear in low-income households. And so I grew up feeling lack a lot. As an adult, once I got older, I realized I had a lot of abundance around me, because even though my parents' story was we don't have the money, we had a lot of people that poured into us as kids, because it was 6 of us. I have 5 brothers and sisters. And so I got to be a cheerleader with the Redskins. Shout out to Oak Cliff Redskins.
Hey.
And I traveled with them. Like when we would win championships, we would go travel for state and regional competitions. And I got to travel to California, Florida, and different places in Texas. And so I realized, I would say maybe in college, I worked a lot, and I just had one job in college. But after college, I started to see a pattern of me having multiple jobs. And I realized that that was from childhood because my parents had multiple jobs. You know, they had their full-time job and then they had one or two part-time jobs to help cover whatever income expenses that we had as a family. And so I saw myself running that same pattern versus, oh my God, hiccups. Versus just going, I was gonna try to do it. I was gonna try to get through it without having to do that.
Oh, I got a sound effect for that. Let me give you the death stare. That's the wrong button. That was the wrong button. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me give you the death stare. That should scare you. Go ahead. You shouldn't hiccup anymore.
That reminded me of something, and I'll think of the cartoon later and tell you about it. Where was I? You just interrupted my story.
No, the hiccups interrupted your story. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me.
So college pattern, so multiple jobs. So yeah, I picked up the pattern from, watching my parents have multiple jobs instead of getting one job that paid enough so that I wasn't working multiple jobs or whatever. Mm-hmm. The other deal is when I got a job that paid enough, I still had the pattern of getting these part-time jobs because that was the pattern that I was used to. And I wasn't necessarily budgeting my money, or I was budgeting my money. I wasn't being consistent with what I did with my money because I had a budget, but I was the excess money, the disposable income, so to speak, I was just spending it wherever, not necessarily being intentional with what I used it for. And so I had to keep up that lifestyle, whatever that was. And so the pattern was, okay, you want to keep doing this, so go get another job, go get more money or whatever. So, but that's pretty much my childhood money blueprint growing up, was a lot of lack. And I would say about 2006, 2007, I started to shift my consciousness around money. And the more I shifted, I started being exposed to different strategies, but more beliefs. So people, beliefs, but people. Because 2006, I was introduced to Dave Ramsey. And then 2007, I was doing Dave Ramsey's program. And then I was introduced to Susie Orman. And so I was following them. And then fast forward to when I got into metaphysics, I learned about, well, prior to that, I learned about Abraham Hicks, Esther and Jerry Hicks or whatever.
Right.
And so then after that, then when I got into Science of Mind at CSL Dallas, then I learned about Mary Morrissey and the Prosperity Plus program that she has. And then some different authors. There's 2 or 3 others. I have women that I'm drawing a blank on their name. Hopefully their name will come to me before this show is over and I'll be able to give them a plug also. But my consciousness has totally shifted. See, you got me talking
sound like me. That's why I didn't want to go first.
You got breathe. So my consciousness has shifted a lot in regards to money now, thankfully. And I've created some really good things. I've manifested some really nice things. And this year, like, I'm turning it up. I'm turning the fire up. And I'm gonna get you on my team, I'm gonna get you on my team, Na'khi. You're gonna be on my real estate or my division that I have, whether you like it or not.
$250,000.
Look, why you always gotta come? You know what? Whatever. Okay.
Abundance.
All
Okay.
right.
Don't limit me.
If you got listen, if you getting $250,000, that means I'm getting that much more. So I'm good with that.
All right. So let me shine. It's like, oh no, Na'khi, you cannot make that. Now you.
I didn't say that. I see you always putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that. All I said was why you got to come with that instead of just saying, I work with you. I see your vision. It's always, I only do it if it's the money, like if it's that money. That's what I'm trying to get you to see.
Expressing.
I need you to buy into the vision.
I'm buying into it. But you got to buy into my vision as well.
Okay, I am complete with my money story.
All right. So my journey to $250,000. Let's start from the beginning. So with me, I'm start with my parents, Cherry Moon and Pop Doobie. Pop Doobie will be here shortly. So my pops, my mother, who was the worker, she was like working around the clock. They both worked, but my mom's was like 24/7, whether she be at her job or whether she on the weekend she'll go to my grandmother's house, Big Mama's house, where Big Mama was taking care of her mother. So my moms would take me and my brother to my grandmother's house, and she would work, help out over there. So it was constant, taking care of my brother, taking care of myself, taking care of her mother, taking care of her grandmother, working as a in the nurse field. And just around the clock, just working, always working harder to, to sustain. Whereas my pops, he was a comedian. So he was working before comedy, but he was like, nah, this ain't for me. This is not my my path. So he was like, I want to be a comedian. So he jumped out there and did his thing. And, to this day, he's still doing comedy. So so I got to see him travel across the country, pretty much do what he wanted to do, just getting paid the amount of money he was getting paid for 30 minutes to an hour sets. And it's like you working 30 minutes to an hour and you getting paid way more than somebody that's working 40 hours a week. So it's like, although like my pops was still in the household, they got a divorce in like 93. So I saw it up from 89 to 93. And then, he moved out. And then we wouldn't move with him until like 1996. So, and then we moved back with my mom's in like 99. So my pops was, mostly gone. So although he was, on Apollo, Comic View, on the radio, he was not a DJ, but he was a morning host for 107.5. Although I saw that, I guess being that I was around my mother more, that rubbed off on me more in regards to working harder. And, not seeing how I could get it easier, doing, following my own path or following my own dreams and moving in that direction. So that's what pushed me to, eventually, go, begin working. And, at the age of 13, I started my first job. Oh, you can sit over here. Got the chair right here. So Pop Doobie's in the house. You go around this way. Just I watch that cord right there. Put these headphones on. What's going down?
Good.
Perfect timing because we're just talking about.
Boom.
So we got the legendary Miguel Washington in the building. Let's go ahead and get him.
I'm here.
Give him the. Let me make sure it's the right one.
Oh man, we set up here, right?
Hello.
Who's the beautiful lady I'm looking at? Who is that?
Lahoma Je'Faye, the only one.
What up, girl?
So I was just talking about because today's show we're talking about getting money. Get money. What you say? Get money. So yeah,
sorry.
we're talking about no, it's cool. You can let loose.
Okay, bet.
You've been on radio before.
Yes, sir.
No limitations over here.
All right.
So we were just talking about I'm talking about my journey. She just spoke about her journey in regards to her programming and her journey in regards to money, her relationship with money over the years.
Okay.
So I was talking about how, seeing moms, working the 9 to 5, helping Big Mama, it was always work harder. Whereas
Right.
you, broke away from the traditional 9 to 5,
Had to,
jumped out, started doing comedy, traveling,
Mm-hmm.
making the money that you were making, working less than most people working a 40-hour a week
way
shift.
less,
Right.
way less.
Right. So I was talking about the programming. So although I saw that from you,
Mm-hmm.
we were more so around moms more. So
Right.
that pretty much was more instilled in me to work hard. So work harder to get more money. So as I got older, I would get jobs. And that was the mindset, just working a job.
Right.
So whereas I got older, it was like I was working 3-4 jobs at a time, thinking that that's what's going to get me to the next level in regards to financial freedom for the most part.
Yeah.
But how things are structured these days, that's not the case. You're going to be working until you retire, till you die for the most part, thinking that you're going to hit financial freedom just working jobs. So it's like you have to, it wasn't until I started to shift my perspective. So with the School of Metaphysics, it was like going within and focusing more on value instead of money. The focus switched. So it's like you have more value and you have to give more in order to get more. And it's not give more of your time to get more money. It was more so, how do you give more of your value? So I can tie that into you being passionate about comedy, and you gave that, and then you were able to reap the benefits of that in that regards.
I think every generation has a different mindset when it comes to money.
Mm-hmm.
Like my father was about go to school, get a good education, go to college, and then get a job. But what they don't tell you is that if you don't get a scholarship, then you have $100,000 worth of student loans that you got to pay back, which is going to take you 20 years to pay that back.
Mm-hmm.
And or if you don't, you get a trade. But what trade do you want? It's not instilled in you early. It's basically you're on your own now. I went to a high school here in Dallas, Texas, Skyline, which offered what they call clusters in, but they were just trades. You learned trades, and my trade was, first it was architecture the first year, and then the reason I got into architecture is because I watched the Brady Bunch, and the father, Mike Brady was an architect. Okay. And I was like, man, but Mike Brady, I guess what dawned on me was he got all them kids, he couldn't structure a bigger house, But what steered me away from architecture, we did a field trip to architect firm, and we got to ask, and I love how we put houses together and the drafting and all that. But I asked the question, what's the starting pay? Because you had to go 4 years of college to get your degree in architecture. What's the starting pay of an architect out of college? And the guy said $12,000. What? I like $12,000. And I'm thinking to myself, my father make more than that, and we struggling. And so I said,
what is this, 80? What is this?
This was 70.
Okay.
This was like 70, 78.
Okay.
This is 1978. So maybe 12. No, that's still, nah. I don't care what year. 38, that's still not.
Okay, it was 22. 12,000.
Right. So I quickly got out of architecture. Didn't know what to get into. Now, I always knew I wanted to entertain and communication. I should have got into television and radio. I never did. I went into graphic arts. Now, graphic arts back then was printing.
Right.
And that was big. You learn the print press, learning the dark room, stripping, plate making, newspaper, paste up. My first job, when I graduated high school, I was making, this is back in 82, I was making $15 an hour. In 82, that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason I didn't go to I didn't get my scholarship, but I didn't go to the Army because I was going to take a pay cut if I went into the military as opposed to making $15 an hour. So that's but I wasn't thinking about the long-term benefits. So after that, you know, for a few years, I realized this is not what I want to do the rest of my life.
Okay.
I didn't know what it was. Football was my passion at that point, and I had nothing else. And then I stumbled across a young black comedian, Eddie Murphy, and something triggered. Like, I can do that. I can identify with that.
Okay.
But my mindset then was, now let's fast forward now, 30 years later. I followed my dream. Mm-hmm. I took the chase, you know. Now I got all my friends now are retiring from their jobs. Mm-hmm. I have friends every day they retire, and they got their retirement package. Excuse me. They have their pension. Mm-hmm. They're doing pretty good. Now, I worked cruise ships for 20 years. Excuse me. Cruise ships shut down March 14th, 2020. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2020. We didn't have a pension plan. We didn't have a retirement plan. So the thing about this generation is entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Right.
The key is you have to set up your own retirement plan. I was just talking to my friend Rodney before I left, when we talking about we don't know what we're going to do because we don't have a retirement plan, we don't have a pension plan, nothing like that.
Right.
Because my retirement plan was get a sitcom, I'm good. Co-star in a sitcom, I get that money, I sit it back. It never happened. Mm-hmm. So my situation is like an Enron. It looked good. It looked good until it was time to cash it in and everything. But now it's like you have to reassess. Mm-hmm. You reassess. It's like I'm writing this book now called "What Happens When the Rug is Pulled Off." What do you do when the rug is pulled off from under you? How do you fall? And the key really is not how do you fall; it's how do you get back up, pick yourself back up. And that's why I'm in the process right now. But getting back to your point about the mindset. I think the mindset of this generation should be entrepreneurship. But not only that, it's your retirement, your future.
Right.
Let me sit money back. Don't always want the money and spend it. Right. Let me sit something back. Let me do this. Now, you're talking to a guy who ain't worked a job in a year and a half, and I'm bought 2 brand new trucks. So you know don't listen to my financial strategy.
He is not a financial expert in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I got a 798 credit score. So what does that tell you? I'm doing something right. I just ain't saving nothing.
Yeah, we can talk afterwards. I want to join into the.
We need to do the disclaimer.
What's the disclaimer?
Anything
well,
that
you know, anything we say is just for entertainment and all of that.
Right. Yeah, you ain't trying to sue us.
For advice and
right. But no, I think the key again, it is entrepreneurship.
Right.
But it's also thinking like a business person, thinking yourself, your entity is your corporation. And corporations set money aside for different things.
Right.
And then you have other businesses that feed into that. Most millionaires don't have one business.
No.
They have several businesses, and all of them feed into one another. That's what makes them a millionaire. Now, you said like working 3 and 4 jobs, that wasn't going to take you to the next level. But if you invest that money into what you had a passion for, if you had a passion at the time, then that's the key. Because now you funneling everything into that to get that passion, to get your studio equipment, right, for whatever. So that's how you funnel it that way. There are ways to do it. But the new age generation these days, I love their mindset. Their mindset.
Yeah, and it's with working those multiple jobs, it was always the conflict of balancing out time, having the money but not having the time, and the energy to be able to pull off like what I'm doing now. So back to what I was saying with the value. So now I've put in 7 years in property management to where now one check is equal to the 2-3 jobs that I was working. Right. So now I've freed up the time and I can invest in what I'm wanting to do. And then now I have the time to do what I want to do. Whereas before you work in 3 jobs and it's like when I get home, I'm tired. Yeah. I just want to lay down and I got to get back up to go to the next job type of thing. So just taking that, putting my mind on like, okay, value. What can I put myself into? What can I invest my time into to build myself up to where I have more value? And then the mindset, getting past the low self-esteem and things like that, that also helped with, shifting into where I'm at now. So now it's like, okay, I'm very confident. The income is where I need it to be for the time being. Of course, I want to level up, take it to the next level. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm investing in what I'm doing. As you can see here, where we at now, opposed to 5 years ago when I was doing podcasting, it was like, okay, do a couple of shows, didn't have the equipment, working with what I had, but now it's like you can see the difference. So
Right.
the shifts and changing your mindset definitely plays a role in getting to where you want. So now how I look at money, it's like money is just an instrument. It's not like it's everything or I'm attached to it to where it's like I'm chasing the money. It's like I put my value on this idea or give my time to this, and then the money just comes.
Right.
So I'll end it on that note in regards to the journey. So we can get into segment 2, where Lahoma will talk about prosperity consciousness, and then I'll get into the crypto. You ready? You ready?
What you want me to say?
Say what you feel.
Somebody's prepared.
So,
And we had a pre-show.
prosperity. I know. We went through this in the pre-show. So what confused me, Na'khi, because you said prosperity consciousness when we talked about something else, budget. Budget.
Oh, it's all in there. It's all in there.
No. Okay.
Well, scratch what I said. Lahoma's gonna talk about what she wants to talk about. Go ahead, sister.
So budgeting. So I've always, well, I won't say I've always, I learned to budget as an adult because growing up, it felt like my parents didn't budget. They could have budgeted, but for me, it felt like they didn't because it seemed like it was so much lack. And the stuff that I was seeing coming through the house, like the type of, we wore what, Neiman Marcus, that was like a really big, expensive brand back in the day, like 80s, 90s. And so we wore Neiman Marcus, and I can't remember some of the other stores that I remember my parents going to, but
Dillard's.
Thank you. Dillard's, Marshalls. But yeah, I remember, Lord and Taylor. That's the one.
Forgot all about
Lord
that.
And Taylor.
You're taking
so
me.
It was like we're shopping at Lord and Taylor, but I'm constantly hearing we don't have, or there's not enough money.
Right.
So I learned to budget as an adult, and that was really important because I needed to see what was coming in and out. Now, I didn't really learn to get good at it, like to do it to the penny, until somebody introduced me to Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman and those people or whatever. But the thing about Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman, they did it from a perspective of what I have in front of me. It was condition-based, meaning if my job pays me $1,000 a month, that's what I have to work with, nothing more. Where I learned differently when it comes to Mary Morrissey and Abraham Hicks and some other people, I learned to look at it from a place of what do I want to experience? Because money is God in action. It's an energy exchange. I think you said that, Na'khi, an energy exchange. So ultimately, I had to start setting my intention of what I wanted to experience. And the circumstances, God, source, the universe, orchestrated things for me to have those experiences, even though I may have only received $1,000 as far as my income. Because a lot of times I hear people talk about fixed income, whether they're on disability or what's some other ones? Unemployment, like they have a set amount of money and they may not get any more money. And it's like, that doesn't mean you can't have the experience that you want to have. And so I took a class a few years ago called Financial Freedom. And in that class, they taught us how to create a budget based upon what we wanted to experience. And so, for example, if I know that I'm going to want to get massages weekly or monthly, I need to put that in my budget. Right. Or if I know that I want to travel, I need to put, travel in my budget. I need to budget according to what I want to experience versus budgeting to, now I'm not saying just go out there and put anything in there. And it's like, I have a lifestyle that that's based on $100,000 income, but I'm only making 30,000. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying be open to the avenues for that stuff to unfold, because once you set the intention that you want to have that experience, things will start to work out for you to have that experience without you necessarily having to go out and get another job or more income or whatever. Now, you could get an idea that would bring about more income, or somebody could come and say, hey, I found out about this job. They're looking for somebody that does what you do. You ought to apply for it. Like stuff like that. What is it? Serendipity.
Okay.
Where things line up to where the circumstances, yes, synchronicity. Everything lines up for you to get exactly what you've set the intention for. Let's see, that's budgeting. And then being a good steward. That is really important, because like we take a lot for granted. Our bodies, for example, and I'm just going to use me as an example. I haven't done a lot of stuff that I've said that I wanted to do. And so over the last year, I've experienced some health challenges as a result of me not taking action on what I knew to take action on. And so it's like, I took a lot for granted as far as my body, the ability to walk without having assistance, the ability to use my arms and hands and my fingers, like everything working. Not everybody has that ability, depending on what their experience is. And so like we have been granted bodies. We didn't have to do anything to get these bodies. And so a lot of times not a lot of times in life, we're granted a lot of stuff. And so what are we doing with it? Are we being a good steward about it as far as taking care of it? Whether it's our body, whether it's the money that we get from work or disability or whatever it is that we do, are we being a good steward of it and budgeting, making sure that it goes somewhere? I hear a lot about people passing away and not having life insurance policies, and people having to raise money to just for a funeral, for a farewell, and or not having a will in place, and people fighting in the family over money. And so it's a matter of taking responsibility, because not only am I responsible while I'm here and I'm managing what I've been given, I'm also responsible when I'm gone. I'm also responsible for making sure that my family can actually grieve properly and not have to deal with my debt or whatever, any debt that I leave behind, or not being able to bury me or whatever, or pay for it, even cremation?
Cremation, yeah.
Because I know that's cheaper, but still, like, not being able to do that because of whatever debt that I leave behind. So yeah, that's where I wanted to start. You want to add anything, either one of you?
Well, I'll just say with saving, I know I've had an issue. I got to be mindful of what I say. Not always, because if I say always, it's going to continue to perpetuate that same energy for the most part. So I've had the conflict of saving. People will pull me to the sides, like, you need to save more, you're spending too much on eating out every day. And as we discussed before, how it resonates with me with those conversations, it's like limiting. And it speaks to what you were saying with, I'm just focused on what I have and I can't go outside of that. So if I've set aside X amount of dollars for entertainment, X amount of dollars for food, X amount of dollars for XYZ, then I got to stay within that quote unquote limit. So, and I can't go over that. So I've been resistant to that when someone started to speak about saving. And then when you brought up your perspective on how you were seeing it and how you were operating, it was like, okay, that opens up the door to to where I don't have to just look at it from just what I have. So it's like, okay, if I want to take a trip in a couple of months, I can put that in or set that intention or put that in my, on my goal list or whatever the case may be. And then knowing how God works, everything will fall into place for that, because I've already set the intention, opposed to like, oh, I want to go on a trip, so I got to work extra hours, I got to do this. Now there is action is needed, you got to take action. So I'm not saying that you don't have to work extra hours, but my mindset in the past would be, I got to go get another job, like immediately just limiting myself to this is the only thing I can do to get that money, opposed to just sitting back and saying, okay, I want to open myself up to receive. Somebody might give me a call like, hey, here's some money for you, or hey, like I've had this happen before, where the times that you've asked, like, oh, you know how to do websites, or you know how to do this, you know how to do that. Those are the different things, opposed to the traditional way of how I would have went about to get the money. It was like I opened myself up, and then those type of opportunities would present themselves. And so thank you for that, for helping me to shift that and getting back to that mindset. And let me see what else I want to add to that, because I know you mentioned Dave Ramsey. I know you mentioned on the pre-show. You can go to the pre-show.
The emergency. We were talking about that on the pre-show.
Oh yeah, so thank you for bringing that up too. So if you want to listen to the pre-show, you can go to that. Go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/ANU BEY. That's ANEWANUBEY.
So you have a pre-show and a show?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. Show.
Yeah, the show is free.
So you have an after show?
No.
Okay. I'll just check it.
So yeah, you can go to the pre-show, but you mentioned like Dave Ramsey. I listened to Grant Cardone. He was on the, you already know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He was on the Earn Your Leisure podcast. I heard his interview with Earn Your Leisure. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure podcast. So Grant Cardone was on there, and he was speaking. He was giving a different perspective in regards to not only because he threw some shots at Dave Ramsey in regards to the older way of, budgeting, saving, and things like that. And he was speaking mostly on not getting a mortgage and not getting a house. He was like, that would be like the worst decision to ever do. You got to listen to the interview.
I've heard of him, and I've heard of that, but go ahead.
Right.
Because I have a house and I have a mortgage.
All
so
right. It's okay.
I didn't think it was dumb. I'm good.
It's okay.
I got a yard too. I like my yard.
But yeah, it was more so the perspectives. Now, I don't like beliefs. At the end of the day, beliefs are beliefs. There is no right or wrong. It's based on however you feel, your experience, and what you feel is the right thing for you at the end of the day. But it was just interesting, like listening to that interview, and it shifted my mindset. I'm like, okay, it gets you out of the traditional way of doing things, and it breaks up the I guess you can say it breaks up the and I don't want to put no words on it, how we've been conditioned. It breaks that up, and it gives you a different perspective, a new outlook on how to view things. And then looking at how we're moving forward into the future, which ties into the crypto, it helps to navigate in a different manner, because again, if we continue doing the same thing we've done in the past, we'll continue to get the same results for the most part. So listening to that interview, that kind of shifted my perspective. I'm like, that makes sense on how you're wording it. Of course, I have to go do my own due diligence, do my own research, but at the same time, it was just interesting how it was a different perspective and a shift. And it's like you were talking about the new generation and how they think, being more entrepreneurial and how they go about doing things. And I also read an article dealing with a lot of the new generation, like Generation Z. They're not hustling like how we started to hustle. Like we would grind all day.
Definitely not like us.
And they was like, they're more so like, hey, I respect my time, my energy. There's a work-life balance, and I'm gonna go about it working smarter. So it's just like, taking that into account, looking at interviews with Earn Your Leisure, Grant Cardone, and some of the things that he was talking about, what you were talking about in regards to the savings, you know, changing perspective, stewardship, like that's definitely like, it helps to free up a lot of energy, a lot of time, and you could open the door for earning more.
Well, let me speak on something real quick if you have the time.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
About the budgeting. See, I guess with me and my situation and my age, I'm 57 years old. I am doing less budgeting now because I don't know if it's my mindset. I don't know if it's my situation, but it's like, you know what? I've been working my butt off since I was 16 years old. I'm going to get what I want because I want to get it.
Right.
And if I can't pay for it no more, then they'll come and get it. That's just the bottom line. Now, the budgeting, absolutely. I think there are certain things you budget for, but I have got to the point now. It's hard for me to budget. And I think it has to do with your conditioning growing up. I think it has to do with, because put it like this, and you know this. When I grew up in a house, everybody was on top of each other.
Right.
I have a house now where you have five people in the house.
We had more.
Oh, you had more. Okay, we had 6.
It was 6 kids and 2 adults.
Okay, we had 4 and 2. So you understand, on top of each other. So when I bought my home that I'm in now, which I said this is a house I'm retiring in, I want to be where when the family comes to the house, no one has to stay at a hotel. No one has to sleep no one has to give up their room for someone else to sleep in. We have plenty of space to sleep. And I have 3 floors. I have a main floor upstairs and a basement. The basement is mostly my domain. It's my music room. It's my production room. It's my room when my wife get on my nerve. I go down there and just be to myself. You need that. Now, people say that's too much house for you. Okay, number one, mind your business, get out of my pockets.
Right.
Okay. Second of all, it all depends on who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, my budget says, okay, I'm going to pay for my house. And getting back to your guy, what's his name?
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, about the house and is, you know, so, and I'm just going off the top because I haven't researched it like you. But basically he's saying the amount of money you're putting in, you really ain't recouping that money. I think that's how the foundation of is what he's speaking on. I could be wrong. I'm speaking off the top. Okay. And my rebuttal was, well, if you're paying to rent, you definitely ain't getting nothing back. So I'd rather recoup some than none. It's just that bottom line. But everybody has their own opinion. He might, and I think he has an agenda. He just don't like doing the yard work. That's all it is. That's the whole bottom line, for my opinion.
Yeah, you definitely gotta do the research.
Yeah.
and see what their intent is.
Well, like I said, the disclaimer was I'm going off the top,
right.
Meaning I said I didn't research it,
right.
So you can't hold that against me if I'm wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no, not against you. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying in regards to him, because you can just listen to it and be like, oh man, I'm never gonna get a house.
Right.
Just listening to him.
Right. Because everybody has their agenda. Everybody has their own agenda to do things.
Right.
I'm just at the point in my life where, and I think it's a mindset with the budgeting. Younger people are going to think of the future. I have seen people who are retiring and have budget and doing very well. I've had a couple of friends who retired and a month, 4 months, they're dead. What's the point? So it's really on what you feel. Yes.
This is good. This is really good. Thank you so much, because I feel you, like, because it's like, I want what I want. I want what I want. Give it to me.
Right.
And so one of the things that is good about what you're saying, because you've literally had a career doing what you wanted. Like, and so it's like you haven't gone without anything.
Right.
So it's like, why would I do something different now?
Exactly.
If the universe showed up and showed out all this time, like, why am I go and budget, so to speak, and
because of COVID?
What I want.
Why should I budget because of COVID?
Right.
Yeah.
That
all
yeah,
around his
I
fear.
feel you on that. That is a limitation. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Na'khi, I got a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said, oh my goodness. You were saying that it felt like a limitation as far as the budgeting, like you once you set that amount, you couldn't go over that amount. What if you didn't look at it from that perspective? You looked at it more so like I'm choosing to stay with this amount because I need this money to go towards this over here.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Then it doesn't necessarily feel like a limitation because the whole point is the money's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of I'm choosing to put the money here versus over here.
Right. Awareness. Yeah, I think that's what one of the things that we spoke about is because I would, and I think I mentioned the two sides of the coin. So it's like I felt, and the key word is felt, like it was limiting, but at the same time, I was not aware of where my finances were going. So it's about you have to balance out the two. So it's like it's not limiting. Now, if I look at my pretty much manage my finances more and be more aware of my finances, it speaks to what you're saying. So it's like it doesn't have to be that cap at the $1,000 if you know how to move money around. So it's like me being in property management and dealing with budgets is like knowing how to move. Okay, I haven't spent money over here, so it's like I didn't buy clothes this month. I had $200 set for for clothes, so I didn't spend that this month. So now I can use or take that and put it over here. So that $1,000 is now 12. So it's like there's no limit anymore. Right. It's like you're just moving your money around and being aware. So
I think budgeting is kind of like a credit card. Some people know just because you have a credit limit, it doesn't mean that you have to race to get to that limit. It's just access to when you don't have the cash on you.
Right.
And then you pay it right back. But we use it just the opposite. Well, I have a $1,000 limit, so I'm going shopping. This dress is, and I shouldn't say dress because that's limiting. I'm boxing in women now, so I'm gonna say these pants.
We don't want to get canceled.
Right. These pants.
Outfit.
Well, men don't wear outfits, so that's putting you right back in the thing. So these clothes,
this drip.
These clothes cost $400. That's too expensive. I got $1,000 on my credit limit. Here you go.
Right.
And that's where we make the mistake. But on the other side, when we talk about the two-sided coin, I'm 57. I want what I want. Can they repossess clothes? I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
They might. I don't know. They's gonna be worn. They ain't gonna find the tags. That's all I'm saying. If they want them back, they can come and get it.
Now that would be funny.
But my mindset is different now since this whole COVID thing. Because going from making a certain amount of money per cruise and making well over 6 figures to making what was it 8 after taxes, because I had taxes taken out my unemployment, getting 500 before they gave let's say $800 a week is a big blow. I don't care how much money you have saved, you're gonna eat through that quick.
Right. Because
you realize how much money you can budget everything. I tell you a perfect example about budget. About 12 years ago, I had to file for bankruptcy. I was working good. I was making great money, but I was charging like crazy. I wasn't even thinking of the limit, because I had $25,000 on this card, had $35,000 limit on this card, had a $20,000 limit on this card.
Shout out to the 780 credit score.
Or they want 780.
We need to talk after this. Okay?
that was at 720. Yeah, I'm 780 now because I ain't got nothing like. I don't want that much. It's too much pressure. But when the housing market, when the crash hit, the cruise ships slowed down and they put a pause on, and then I got to realize how much debt I had incurred because I wasn't keeping up. I was, as long as I can make the monthly payment, I was cool.
Right.
I had acquired over $100,000 in unsecured debt. Now that's just remember when I said you want what you want? That's good, but sometimes you gotta say, you really don't want that. You really don't need that.
After fact.
Right. So now, 12 years later, I'm back in a position where my credit score is good. My money is low because I'm not working regularly on the ships, but I'm more aware now. I don't let any of my cards of my limit go. Matter of fact, if I get to $300, it's ready. I put it out, take it out of my wallet. I take it out of my wallet. I got to pay this off because I don't want that. I don't want that to just keep growing. That's when you get, but I'm still, it's two-sided coin.
Right.
I want what I want.
I want what I want, but I don't want that $100,000, debt again. So yeah.
Well, and that's where I guess the budgeting could come in again, where it's like, I want this, but I don't have to have it right now. So let me budget and put money to the side to get it by this date.
Right.
Like you could just set the intention, like, what is it, the 10 most wanted list, Na'khi?
Yeah, I do the 10 most.
Is that what it's called? And just really setting the intention, like by this date, I'm going to have XYZ or whatever.
Okay.
Boom.
And you may not necessarily have to put money to the side, because there have been times I set an intention, maybe 2016. I was like, you know what? I was planning a trip with a friend of mine to go to Arkansas. We were going to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And so we were looking at the budget of how much we were going to be paying. And it was like, you know what? I'd like to go for free for the flight. I'd like to manifest some free plane tickets. I don't want to have to pay for my flight. I ended up getting 2 vouchers for plane tickets for my friend and I. We didn't have to pay for flights.
How'd you do that?
So how?
We have time to a short synopsis.
That's the pre-show stuff.
Okay.
I can tell you, but we're not gonna get it.
Tell me on the after show, and then if it's interesting, then y'all have an after show.
Well,
I feel like he should know. He manifests quite a few things.
Oh yeah, I've manifested a great deal of things.
Okay.
So this will be a good segue into the crypto space, because when we talk about when we talk about the future, crypto, blockchain, decentralization, and things like that, where we're moving into a realm of things speeding up. We're moving into a realm of to where the traditional ways of doing things are obsolete.
I was going to say the buffering is that time lapse is smaller.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So it's just like so getting into it. So with crypto, so I've been a part of the crypto community since 2019. So I got in, I have a friend that's, he's been in since 2016, 2017. And he always jokes around and says, bro, you've known about this since 2010. We could be millionaires right now. Cause he's more so of the, he does the research, and because he's been into stocks and things like that. And he treats crypto just like he treats stock market. He researches the stock, or in this case, he researches the crypto. He listens to whomever he needs to listen to, reads as many articles as possible, and keeps abreast of what's going on, what's doing good, what's the long-term effects and things like that. So he knows the analytical side, the patterns and things of that nature. So he's been putting me on since, he's been pushing me to, invest. And then I finally did that in 2019, just a small amount. And then in 2020, I was able to get in and invest more. And looking at how the cryptocurrency space has its ups and downs, of course. It's, but at the same time, you could pretty much be a millionaire if you pretty much put your time and energy in, and you know what you're doing. So there's with the pandemic and all that happened last year, people that jumped into the crypto space, people that jumped into like the metaverse with NFTs and things like that, it's produced a great deal of millionaires, like overnight for the most part. And these are people that were working a 9 to 5, and they were moving in that route. moving along that traditional route of just working, earning, and the same old, as they call it, with the rat race for the most part. And with people jumping into that space, it opened up the door for people to see, not only get the money, but also see, like, oh man, this opens up the door to where I could do way more than what I thought I could do in this lifetime. So with the crypto space, when we talk about like decentralization, blockchain, these terms, just to break those down real quick, like, so decentralization. So when you think of your bank, when you go put your money into the banking institute, it's centralized. So it's owned by, so if you bank at Chase, Wells Fargo, BBVA, or whomever, they pretty much have control over your money. It's centralized, so it's controlled for the most part. But when you go into a decentralized space, it's not controlled by an entity. When we go on Facebook, Facebook owns that space. Whatever data that you put on that platform, they pretty much own that. So whatever space, Google, Facebook, whatever, those are entities that control that space, whatever space that may be. So that's a centralized base. So when you start talking about decentralized, a good example of that everybody may know, everyone knows Napster, everyone knows LimeWire. That's a decentralized space. Like when you talk about your Fire Stick, and then you have programs to where you can watch certain TV shows and movies, you might get a certain app, but that app does not control the movies. They just a hosting site for those links to watch that movie or those TV shows outside of Netflix. Now, if you want to get on Netflix owns the rights to those TV shows, movies. But if you, going back to Napster, mostly everyone knows about Napster. So no one controlled the music that's being uploaded and downloaded, or the movies that were uploaded and downloaded, or the images that were uploaded and downloaded. So they didn't own that, or they didn't control that. So it was more so like a peer-to-peer type of thing. So it's not a centralized platform. So it's more so a decentralized platform. So we're moving into a decentralized based economy, to where when you look at, and I don't want to get too technical, for the most part, when you start dealing with crypto, and I don't have it on me right now, you have what they call like digital wallets. So I have a digital wallet. I have most of my crypto currencies that I own on my digital wallet. So I own it. So even though it's a Ledger digital wallet, that's the brand. Ledger doesn't own anything that's on my wallet. I own the key to that wallet. Now, if you put your money on like Coinbase is a centralized exchange. So the money that's being held is in essence owned by Coinbase. So when you're talking about decentralization, the wallet, the digital wallet, me being my own bank, I pretty much own the crypto that's on that wallet. So we're moving into a space where decentralization, whether it be music platforms, whether it be money, cryptocurrencies, whether it be, you name it, that's where we're headed to in regards to a decentralized based economy. So when you talk about where your money's going to be, what you're taking back ownership of your music, you taking back ownership of your data, you taking back ownership of your money, you taking back ownership.
Is that like the art stuff too? What do they call it?
Oh, NFTs.
Yeah, NFT.
Yeah.
NFTs. So NFTs, same thing. It's pretty much depending on what platform you're using, because there are centralized platforms as well. But it's like, if I buy a piece from somebody, I'm the owner. I'm the owner of that piece. So, and it's locked on on the blockchain. I'm not gonna get into the blockchain technology, but the blockchain technology is pretty much it's like an authentication of who owns XYZ, if that makes sense. So when you're talking about this new world that we're moving into with money, ownership, us taking back ownership, whether it be, like I said, crypto, whether it be you being an artist, whether you being a music artist, whether it be a digital artist, whether it be they're even doing like real estate, to where you can buy real estate in virtual worlds. I can buy a parcel of land or a plot of land in a digital world or a virtual world, own it, and then the like I said, with the blockchain says that, okay, Na'khi owns this plot of land in this virtual space. So anything that happens on that space, I can pretty much create a what they call a smart contract to say, hey, if anyone builds on this space, if anyone wants to rent out this space, I pretty much get X amount of dollars. So when we start talking about like generational wealth and things like that, we're looking at the long term. So it's like if I'm investing in Bitcoin for the long term, and goes to what Lahoma was talking about, being responsible for your future, for the people that come after you, the generations after you, I can hold on to that Bitcoin and have that Bitcoin in that wallet, and I can pass that digital wallet down to the next generation, and they own that. If I own this plot of land in this virtual space, I have the smart contract that says Na'khi owns that, and the blockchain can verify that, and I can pass that down to the next generation. And anything that happens on that plot of land is just like what we're seeing now with whoever owns the land is the one that's making the true money in regards to, like, you have to pay property taxes, buildings or retail or commercial real estate, they're building on top of the land. Whoever owns the land, they're pretty much making a great deal of money in regards to them owning that. So this is the same thing that the wealthy are doing to this day, to where we have the advantage of doing that in the digital space. So when I talk about like the metaverse, going into these virtual worlds and owning XYZ, you pretty much can now own it, opposed to having to go through a bank, or you have to go through a third party to own XYZ, or they hold the royalties, like in the case of like music artists.
Right.
You got to go through a music or a record label. They pretty much own the publishing and everything, and they pretty much give you a percentage, and you have to wait on them to cut you the check. Whereas now,
which is changing now, yeah.
Right, which now is like I can upload my music on the blockchain and I own it, and then I can create a smart contract to where I'm going to reap the benefits 100%. I don't have to go through a third party. That smart contract will be forever connected to me unless I decide to reprogram it. But down the line, if this blows up down the line, if somebody decides to resell, my work of art, they buy it, they become the owner, partial owner. If they want to sell their ownership, I still get a percentage of that. So it's like we're moving into a space of sovereignty. We're moving into a space to where we become the owners. So that's just my spill on the crypto metaverse, the crypto space, the metaverse, and the blockchain.
I know nothing about crypto, that other than I should have bought it a long time ago. That's about it.
I'm with you on that. My question was going to be, how does one get into it if they, one, don't know about it, or if they feel like their budget does not allow for them to get into it? Because I think I saw somewhere one Bitcoin is like $30-something thousand. That may be someone's one year salary. So
I thought the same way when I got involved, and you can break it down to them.
Yeah, you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of. So it's like if you want to just put $10 in, you'll have $10 worth of Bitcoin compared to the 30,000. Now, if the 30,000 jumps to 60,000, your $10 now becomes $20. Yeah. So it's like
you buy fractions of the coin.
Right.
A percentage of the coin.
Right. So yeah. So
aren't they doing that with a lot of other like Tesla, and you can buy fractions of that?
Yeah, shares.
Stock. Yeah.
Yeah, the stock.
That's how they're doing it.
Same
to get more people involved. That's all. That's the only reason they did it that way.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the same game, just different a different appearance. Same thing.
Well, you have a lot of different that list that you sent me that had all the different. I didn't know it was that many.
Oh yeah, there's
crypto.
over 1,000. It's 10,000 over 10,000, like over 1,000.
All I knew was Bit and
Ether.
No, I didn't know about Ether.
Oh, Dogecoin.
Doge.
Yeah.
And I have a little Doge, and I should have got more when a friend of mine told me about it. And I got, a little bit, but it's okay. Wish I had more. If you want to do an interview on I got a guy from Jesse. He's a crypto guru. So let me know.
Okay.
I'll hook it up.
All right. So yeah, it's the
one-on-one first, and then bring it on the show.
Oh. Is that the pre-show? Is that the pre-show?
No,
Yeah,
I
we
just
need to do a pre. Well, I don't know about a pre-show. I'm like, I need to know. I need
Oh,
to know for myself, and then we can bring it to the people. I'm
okay.
trying to learn too.
yeah, it's still
I'm not trying to learn on here. I need
Right,
because I
right.
have a lot of questions.
yeah, it's still in this infancy stages. Everything that I broke down, I'm still learning. Everything is still in its infancy stages. So we're not in a situation where it's like if you would have invested in Google, Microsoft back in 2000, then you pretty much bought into them, and then down the line, here we are now. You could be a billionaire by now.
Yeah.
We're still in that stage. So like, look at it like the .com bubble in like the late 90s, where everybody was jumping in, putting money up to get into this thing that they call the internet, and the .com. Everybody was building websites and putting money into all these companies that pretty much fell by the wayside. We're pretty much seeing the same thing happen right now in this new space that we're dealing with. So a lot of people think that they're late to the party, being that Bitcoin did jump to like 60,000 a couple of months ago, and then now it's back down to 30,000. So the market is pretty much correcting itself, and a lot of people are selling because out of fear, because they think like, oh, let me go ahead and get my money out of here before I don't have any money. But this is just like the late 90s, when if you knew what happened back then, you would stay the course and look at the long haul, the long term, and say, okay, I'm gonna put my money here and keep it here, and then in the next 10 years the markets will be way up to the point where it's like, okay, I'm glad I invested in that. Just like people that invested in Amazon, Google, and all them back in the day, and to where now the money is looking good and you can take that money and do whatever you want to with that.
So you don't like the strategy of, and I just talked to Jesse today about this, because he was talking about riding the wave, like you're saying. A lot of people, when it went up to 60,000, they sold a lot of their shares.
Right.
And then when it went down to 30, they bought back in. So they're making their money, they're just stacking their money, making the profit, sitting it back. It go down, go back in, it goes back up, pull a profit, go. So the money keeps rising.
Oh yeah, that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
But you have to
know the wave.
Yeah, you got to know the wave, and you got to put the time in to watch the market.
Yep.
I don't put the time in like that. Let me just put my money over here, let it sit. So there's people that do that full time.
Yeah.
So
it's called due diligence.
Okay. Thank you, brother. He will be teaching a course next week here on New Day with ANU BEY.
I just come over to hang out. I ain't know it was gonna be on a radio show. I just come over, just hang out.
All right. Well, hey, this is what you can expect now moving forward. I might next time you come through, I might be like, hey, can you buy me a car?
I'll sell you mine. I'll be three payments behind, but you can catch it up.
Na'khi got it.
Because I want what I want.
If you have that mindset,
man,
you will always get.
Hey, I ain't scared no more. The problem is I was scared before. I ain't scared no more.
Like, what you gonna do? You can
exactly.
Take it. Yeah, you're not gonna kill me.
The worst thing they're gonna do is take it. That's it. So I'm good.
And we got Uber and Lyft. You can get around.
Yeah. Well, no, I got 2 other cars already paid for, so I'm good.
That's true.
So
we can go ahead and wrap it up. So we get into segment 3, where we'll give resources based off of what we spoke about. We can give resources. So who would you like to? What resources would you like to share with the people in regards to? I know you named a couple of names. Give some more if you have more resources. Nothing. You got it.
I said Mary Morrissey. Oh my God, the 2 ladies, their names never. Oh, Catherine Ponder. She has a book on prosperity. And Edwin Gaines, that's the other lady, Edwin Gaines. They all have books out. The Prosperity Plus program is Mary Morrissey. That's a really good program that'll shift consciousness around money.
Do you have her book? It's a course or a book? Both. Because I know
Mary Morrissey is both. She has a book and she has a course. She has Prosperity Plus and then Prosperity Plus 2. And I think she has a Prosperity Plus 3. I feel like there's 3 now because it's evolved. Like she's added stuff to it each time or whatever, that she brought another part to it. You said Earn Your Leisure. MG, the mortgage guy, he's on Instagram. The Garland Group, they're on Instagram. The Master Investors on Instagram. CSL Dallas, they have tons of classes that will help shift the consciousness around money. That's pretty much it. And I would just say, just know that even if you didn't jump on whatever bandwagon, like I know I didn't jump on the Bitcoin back. I didn't know about Bitcoin whenever it started, but that doesn't mean that I can't either get on it now or the next best thing or whatever.
Right.
Like I'm not bound by any past decisions, mistakes, or lack of action. I'm not bound by any of that, because right now abundance is here and it's all around us.
Indeed. So the resources that I have for the crypto space, we have Chicago Crypto Hustler and Black Magic 363. Father Rich, How to Make Money in the New Digital Economy workshop. I invested in that a couple of weeks ago for Angel, my son Angel. He's going to be getting into that space. So a nice 5-hour breakdown, step by step, in regards to setting up a digital wallet, knowing how to navigate the markets, as well as setting up your account on Decentraland, which is a virtual space where you could buy land, you can communicate with other people, you can, create events, you can do so much in Decentraland. So he shows you how to connect your wallet and make money and earn in the metaverse. And then you also get, we also got two additional workshops that he did in the past. Chicago Crypto Hustler, dealing with how to, speaking to what the brother you were talking about, learning how to analyze the market. And
Jesse Rogers.
Yeah, Jesse Rogers, knowing how to analyze the market and look for the trends and things like that. You have Red Pill, from Know the Ledge Media. He has the Evolution Will Be Digitized workshop. You have the biggest crypto play ever, the #1 platform helping the culture create crypto millionaires. I actually went to one of their events last month. It was downtown in Dallas. Went there and they were talking about cryptocurrencies, the metaverse, and things like that. So they have their own. They have a website, so it's the biggest crypto play ever. You also have BWO, which is Black World Order, Brother Ben X, 19 Keys, Jake Jacobs, Chris Cole. They've been talking about crypto. They've talked about changing the mindset, marketing strategies, and things like that, building your brand. And then last but not least, you have Na'khi. And that's spelled KNXXTI, Na'khi. He also has master classes dealing with crypto, NFTs, and the metaverse. So these are all brothers that I listen to. I've gotten courses here and there, and like I said, I went to the workshop. Well, that wasn't really a workshop. It was just a like a lecture with the biggest crypto play ever out here in Dallas. So be on the lookout for those if you're looking to get into the crypto space, the metaverse, NFTs, dealing with blockchain decentralization, because it's a whole different world that's taking shape right under, right in front of our eyes, with the Great Reset and the everything that happened last year with the pandemic. Is like, that's, for the most part, I can say that it's setting us up for the next phase or the next stage of life. So that's all I have in regards to that. So anything else you want to add?
Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem.
I would have been more prepped if I got an invitation to the pre-show, but you know,
we didn't even have it planned.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I did good. I just chimed in when I could, and because y'all know what my motto is:
do what you want.
No, I want what I want.
Shows you I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, right.
Do what you want. Listen to my pops. Do what you want. So thank you for taking the time. I know it was last minute, but we appreciate your perspective. So this concludes today's show. This is season 1, episode number 5, entitled "Get Money." What you say? Get money. So yes, so we talked about Lahoma and my programming and journey with money. I was struggling at the beginning with that.
Thank you for getting that together.
Yeah, in English I said Lahoma and eyes.
What? What?
He
English.
made our clip look bad.
I tried it.
Wow.
So Lahoma and my journey and programming in regards to money. Secondly, we talked about Lahoma talked about saving, budgeting, and prosperity consciousness. I spoke about crypto and the new metaverse that we're moving into. And then last but not least, we gave resources for both. So
wait.
Go ahead.
Please get life insurance policies and
Yes.
write a will.
Yes.
Put it in writing. That's very important for our community.
Don't wait till an emergency happens. That's when I did it, after an emergency happened with a family member. And yeah. So we set now.
Right.
Word.
Right on. So join us next month. We are doing 1 show per month. We have busy schedules. So join us for episode 6. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we will be talking about something important. So also check out Spaces to Place podcast, the only podcast to raise your vibration through alien art, simulated slang, and electric ego. Be on the lookout for space number, or what did I call those? I haven't done a show in so long. Star. I call my show Stars. Star number 8. Be on the lookout for that. So where you can find us show on the Spaces of Place network. We've gotten our own platform now, so you can find us on Facebook, IG, Twitter at A New Day A New Bey. That's ANEWANUBEY. And our goal is to surpass 1,000 subscribers and followers that truly support our cause. So you can also go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/A New Bey. All right. So in closing,
always create a new day with a new Bey.
Touche, and never lose faith, because what you say matters. I am Khem Anu Na'khi.
And I am Lahoma Je'Faye.
And thank you to our special guest, Miguel Washington.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. And we are A New Bey.
We out.
Yo, it's a new day, and it's the conscious way. Yo, it's a new day, a new day. We've got the tools to free your mind. So come on, it's time to shine, be a new day. We've got the healing that you want. So come on, create.